What's up, gamers? Hi, Descendants, and hello, Internet. Welcome to my The First Descendant review and beta impressions, where we ask the ultimate question, should you play? We'll cover the basics of gameplay, sound, graphics, and in-game purchases inside this brand new third-person open-world MMO. If you're a fan of the looter-shooter genre, whether you play the OBT or not, then this is a much-watched video, so enjoy. Let's just address the MMO elephant in the room first, shall we? Any new game introduced into the looter-shooter genre always raises a red flag and begs the question, is this the next Destiny killer? For those unaware or even new to gaming, Destiny, released in 2014, or more precisely the current Destiny 2, retitled and released in 2017, and published by game developer Bungie, also the creators of Halo, is the most successful and popular FPS MMO over the past decade. Thus, all games are held in high comparison, but I digress. The blunt answer is no. The First Descendant is not the next Destiny killer. There are some intriguing similarities, and perhaps even more so with third-person MMO looter-shooter WARFRAME, developed by Digital Extremes, which coincidentally runs parallel in community investment and support to Destiny since its preemptive release in 2013. Comparisons aside, moving forward, I won't be laboring on how the First Descendant holds up to other titles. I just wanted to raise an eyebrow, as it will for any gamer when watching this video. I also never heard of NEXON Games, the Korean-based game studio, or its parent publisher Nexon before either. A quick search revealed they have been in business for years, mostly in Asian markets, but past releases and marketing geography aside, let's judge TFD on its own merits from the open beta, starting with the gameplay. My experience on PC was powered by an R7 5800 and NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080 via a 32-inch Ultra Gear FHD, 165Hz HDR10 with G-Sync compatibility, also using a Razer Huntsman Elite keyboard and Basilisk version 3 mouse. Movement and maneuverability were satisfying in third person, with an adjustable POV providing great customized scaling to all the action on screen. There are a lot of settings in TFD, both for platform performance and in-game accessibility. I didn't fuss with these too much and basically played on default with some minor tweaks, most notably turning motion blur off. For starters, the grappling hook feature was very cool, allowing players to live their best Spider-Man moments between cooldowns, which weren't very long by the way, and either advance forward more quickly or escape death at a moment's notice. Grappling also played well into several areas of the beta with tiered environments, which allowed for vertical gameplay. However, there were moments when the grapple seemed to fall short or not propel your character as anticipated. Weapons and gear, such as external components, reactors, consumables, and modules, are all assigned a tier ranging 1 to 4, labeled Common, Rare, Ultimate, and Transcendent respectively. Leveling items was easy enough as simply playing or using the weapon transmission system at a workbench to transfer the level of a higher weapon into a lower one. Crafting inside the First Descendant is augmented by enhancing items to grow in power, and the difference was noticeable. However, the more significant bump in gameplay came from the modding or module system. Slotting and subsequently leveling up weapon and descendant mods not only provided additional power, but enhanced abilities or provided new augments to strengthen and diversify playstyles. I particularly like the Ultimate Descendant mod that increased your overall defense based upon a percentage of your gross HP, but left your total HP at 1 point. I doubled down on HP, shields, and defense from my selection of external components, of auxiliary power, sensors, memory, and processors, and with my Descendants reactor boosting my ability strength. Each of these parts in tandem with my weapons made me feel powerful and rewarded me for my customization. Ability and weapon use felt great. You can select 3 weapons to carry and are not restricted by what you can or cannot slot. Weapons are defined by their different ammunition rounds, general, special, impact, and high-powered. However, the ammo economy drop rate too often felt absent, and many times I was left running around scavenging and left with only my abilities between cooldowns. Perhaps the best weapon offered during the beta and obtainable through a simple quest was the ultimate submachine gun Thunder Cage. Thunder Cage's unique ability was Overcharge, where defeated enemies had a percentage chance to unleash an electric shockwave and inflict damage to other enemies inside its radius as well. Initial Descendant character selection was limited to either Viessa with cold skill debuffs, Lepic, grenade focused for area of effect damage, and Ajax, a tank role providing shields. The remaining Descendants, 13 in total to unlock, also had their own unique passive and 4 nuanced active skills for either crowd control, area of effect, or direct damage, with some being more adept than others. However, before even getting these Descendants onto the battlefield, I was first introduced to the very fit, waifu-esque sex appeal from Viessa and Bunny during the opening cinematics. The developers were very deliberate on how they assigned each asset when creating these curve-flattering characters. Regardless, putting these for-your-page memes aside, each character delivered a unique skill-based performance and indeed at times dropped some eye-popping double DPS. Okay, just one more pun for fun there. The beta cap players at level 40 and external components granted additional power bonuses when applied correctly, which proved to be strong, but the first Descendant did not offer any unique armor. A bummer for the traditional loot chaser in me, but obviously a design choice by the developers. Descendant builds are solely comprised of your character's version, normal or ultimate, and the mods used for each, its reactor and external components, in addition to weapon selection and mods equipped for each. There's a variety of customization for different playstyles, and the limited time offered by the OBT had piqued my curiosity and had me wanting to try more. However, no intricate skill tree or alternate skill options were available to unlock. Each Descendant's passive and active skill abilities were certainly fun to use and provided moments of surprise and reliability, but lacking were options to dive into a rabbit hole of exploration and skill theory craft. Further, each Descendant was advertised as having their own backstory, yet lore-wise, outside of the main campaign story cinematics, not much was available in-game outside of some NPC vendor and open-world patrol dialogue. Players received most Descendant details from the TFD website, which coincidentally also served as a how-to guide for using the game's systems. Hopefully, the official release will have more specific character lore available inside the game, in addition to a more well-rounded tutorial on how each system functions. And speaking of lore, and what exactly are you doing through the main story? It's another tale of humanity versus its alien invaders. The graphics were extremely satisfying as Nexon incorporated the Unreal Engine 5 when building the First Descendant. The visuals are photorealistic, and with each pull of the trigger and ability spam, provides an ear-pleasing and overall engaging, fast-paced, and visceral combat loop. I personally didn't encounter any major issues, and other players I met during the week didn't share anything significant. There was occasional lag and matchmaking issues, but for the most part, the beta played very well. I wouldn't say the lighting and environments rendered in each activity and zone available were stunning, however. Aesthetically pleasing? Yes. Knock me off my gamer chair amazing? No. And that's not to say what was in the beta was bad. Certainly not. The Unreal Engine does its job. I just didn't catch myself saying, wow, or this is amazing very often. However, the main campaign cinematics were certainly cool, an engaging style of clean science fiction imagery blended with traditional anime overtones. Character cinematic dialogue fell into common RPG tropes, but what sets TFD apart was your Descendants' in-game battle soundbites. The random expletives when your Descendant is hurt, or sarcasm upon reviving a teammate, was most definitely a laugh every time. Everything from Bunny's laughter while she was running to Ajax's battle cry was very immersive and landed well. Each Descendant's ability audio cues and associated commentary was also on point. Differentiations between weapon archetypes were audibly different, yet it did sound like all automatic weapons were the same. I did enjoy how critical hits were noticeably different from the rest of shots landed, although on a side note, it did seem at times that critical hits did not register successfully as they should when on target. But again, this was the beta, and for the most part, hitbox registration was fine. Again, I digress. My headset is an Astro A40, which is fantastic, by the way. And games that offer surround and ambient sound, specifically coming from different directions, are well received and immersive with my brand. The First Descendant delivers on this front consistently, but again, perhaps it was just beta blame. Sometimes what was heard in one direction was coming from a different angle instead. It wasn't chronic, but enough to be worth noting here. Lastly, for in-game purchases, the First Descendant is primed, no pun intended, Warframe fans, for real money transactions in their cash shop. I was surprised at how little to no mention of microtransactions was advertised. However, with being a free-to-play game, Nexon will be inserting a real money exchange hub for S-tier aesthetics, unique gear, Descendants, and more for revenue. Personally, I have no issue with developers offering microtransactions. They run a business, and especially inside a free-to-play game, added revenue streams are required. I just hope that whatever is offered for sale from the shop in the form of gear, weapons, Descendants, are also available to be earned in-game. Nexon has already claimed that this will be the case, but it would be a pity to see TFD turn into a pay-to-win cash grab. Again, I digress. What was available for free during the open beta testing via earnable in-game currency, such as credits and other resources, could be used for a variety of character customizations, such as Descendant and gear crafting upgrades, fashion skins, and color palettes and textures. The skins offered looked amazing, and the color palette options really worked well and satisfied your inner fashionista and drip artist cravings. I can easily see Nexon releasing even more fashionable options. Fingers crossed they just don't all end up with the giant real money price tag inside the cash shop. Overall, the First Descendant open beta testing was a fun experience, and I was left wanting more. According to Steam, crossplay users peaked at nearly 80,000. It was easy to get hooked and start grinding for your next upgrade. The open world zone missions provided excellent ad density, and I always felt engaged during combat. Boss fight events weren't overtly mechanical and were more of a familiarity and DPS check. I liked the gear and skills used, but also felt that there was something missing from the power fantasy. Character customization was on point, and in many instances, a fashionable thirst trap. Just playing the beta felt good. If anything, it was a nice break from the AAA MMO RPGs we're accustomed to playing. TFD looked and sounded well through the Unreal Engine 5, and with some polishing will no doubt be even more of a rewarding experience. Crafting, upgrading, and using in-game purchasable items did have a learning curve, but that's common with any new MMO. And although a hurdle with limited tutorials, it wasn't a major drawback from just having fun. The First Descendant from Nexon Games is expected to be released in early 2024. My gamer rating is play with a score of 6.6 out of 10. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in Albion next year.
That's actually a cute pic.
Thank you for watching. Likes and shares are kindly appreciated, and subscribe for more content. Peace.